Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is the Sunday garden question and answer video that I've been doing for a while now on every Sunday, except for the first Sunday of every month. I do a subscriber Sunday video where subscribers send in photos of things in their yard that they're proud of. If you're interested in that subscriber Sunday video, send the photos to this email address right here. Just include something like subscriber photos or something like that as the title of the email. That will help me out a lot. But like I say, the rest of the Sundays I've been doing garden question and answer videos. If you have a gardening question, ask it down below, and I pull, I think maybe 8 or 10 a week to try to answer, and I try to pick ones that I think are relevant for the group. So let's get started on this Sunday's. Somebody asked me about they had put down pre-emergent herbicide on their Bermuda grass and wanted to then overseed with rye for the winter time. I think that that pre-emergence is definitely going to prevent your grass seed from germinating as well. But it's worth a try just to go out and put some out and just test it and see, because annual rye is pretty tough stuff. Some possibility that some portion of it would still come up. I don't really know without trying it. I probably wouldn't use a whole 50-pound bag out there, but I would certainly try a small spot and see if it will still come up. Somebody asked me about their native azaleas not blooming. They're native azaleas to the southeast United States. They're deciduous. They lose their leaves in the wintertime, and some are fragrant, some aren't. I've got a few back here behind me at this house. Amongst my favorite plants, I love the anticipation of deciduous azaleas. The buds are on them now, the flower buds are on them, and they just swell and get bigger and bigger and bigger until spring, and then they become these large clusters of very showy flowers. Deciduous azaleas tend to be like yellows and oranges and reds and really vibrant, vibrant colors that you don't get typically in evergreen azaleas or even rhododendrons. So somebody asked why they weren't blooming. One thing that could be happening is obviously deer could be munching on them in the wintertime. If you go out right now, the flower buds for next spring should be on them. And so if you saw the flower buds on them right now, then something's happening between now and spring. That would likely be a deer. If there's no flower buds on them at all right now, that would obviously be an issue with the plant, at which point, I'd fertilize them next spring, maybe trim them a little bit, cut them back a little bit in the early spring. Wait and see if you've got any flowers, and then you would always prune those after they flower. But if they're not going to flower, then prune them in the early spring and fertilize them at the same time and see if that helps next year. But I have a feeling they're actually being damaged in the winter by something. Okay, somebody asked me about using fertilizer spikes on their trees and shrubs in the spring and the fall. I guess the manufacturer of the fertilizer spikes, that's what they're recommending. And I would just do it in the spring. I don't see any reason to fertilize in the fall. There's probably some plants that might respond to that fertilizer even in the off season. Some plants just don't have good off switches, and it could push some growth on them. I just don't see any point in it, and I'd rather you just use an organic granular fertilizer in the spring just once, and go out and sling it out and be done with it in a few hours for the year. I got several videos on that. Somebody asked me what zone I'm in. I know I probably need to say this on virtually every video because I do get this question quite a bit. I'm in 7B. The new place there in Raleigh is 7B, or right on the edge of 7A and 7B on the zone map. But neighbor is right on the edge of Zone A and Zone B on the zone map. But in the city, typically it's going to be a little warmer than that. It's probably really is Zone 8 where my new place is, but I'm going to call it 7B, continue to call it 7B. Somebody asked me about camellias in pots, having camellias in pots over winter in Zone 8. But then they said they were in Virginia, and I don't think there is any part of Virginia that's Zone 8. Maybe out by Virginia Beach. I don't know. I guess that's possible. Camellias will be fine in containers except for a few nights during the winter. Those roots on camellias, I bet anything around 15, 18 degrees, camellia roots could actually be hurt. And so that's what you'd be looking for. I think that 90% of the winter, 95% of the winter, they could just sit out there and be absolutely fine. But there's probably a few nights they need to be relocated to the garage or inside your entryway or something like that. Because the actual, I put up a video yesterday about overwintering plants in containers. Camellias are just, the roots are just flat out sensitive to actual temperature. And so, you get down around 15 and you can start to see camellias go south in a hurry. Most nurserymen in zone 7 and zone 8 have their camellias in hoop houses for the winter, cold frames under plastic. So we're real careful with camellias because it's not just the air temperature on the top, but the actual air temperature can actually harm the roots on camellias. And you can pull them out in the spring and you can just see they're black on the edge when they've had that kind of damage. And they're so slow to recover from anything that can set you back an entire season if we let our camellias be damaged in the winter. Enough about that. Somebody asked me about when to change soil in containers. So if you have container plants, how often are you, pulling them out? Probably once a year, I'll pull something out of a container and just knock some of the soil off and put some fresh soil in there. I don't go about replanting them entirely if I'm leaving them in the same container, but I do put a little bit of fresh soil back in at least once a year. I think that's beneficial. To do that, but I'm not a person that's going to go knock all the soil off and go through a long process of replanting it. I'll take it over to the edge of my compost pile, pull it out of the pot, knock some of the soil off of it, and then put it back in, and then tuck some new soil around it and call it done. And like I say, once a year. Somebody asked me about when to prune hydrangeas, and I get this question almost every single week. They don't know what hydrangeas they have. I do have a video on the channel for it's all about hydrangeas, and it's all about the 5 different types of hydrangeas. From that video, you should be able to ID yours. Once you ID yours, then I also tell in that video when it would be time to prune that type of hydrangea. Hydrangeas, unfortunately, have different pruning times. Somebody asked me where to ask questions, either on the old videos, like if you're watching one of my old videos on the channel, should you ask the question there or ask the question on these question and answer videos? I definitely ask them in both if you would, because if I answer them on the old video, that will help somebody that finds that video in the future. Here's the problem though. I use an app on my phone that puts the questions in the order that I'm receiving them. So if I put up a video today, which I'm going to, we're gonna watch this video hopefully, and you ask me 20 questions on here, it tends to bury the other questions I got on the old videos that I actually got on the same day. So I end up missing a lot of them, and it's not on purpose, but it's just, sometimes I just get clusters of questions so fast that I missed them. So there's lots of old questions that I haven't answered. So if you definitely need an answer, ask it on this one. You're probably more likely for me to see them every week because I actually go back physically and go back through the questions. But both would be helpful for the channel. Okay. Somebody asked me about when to plant butterfly bushes. They had heard that it was bad to plant them in the fall, and I would actually agree with that. I don't like to plant things that go dormant or die to the ground in the wintertime. Butterfly bushes are somewhere in between a herbaceous perennial and a woody shrub. They actually do become woody at the base, but we do take them down in the late winter to about 18 inches tall or so. And I've had varying degrees of success planting butterfly bushes in the fall, and as a landscaper having to guarantee something for a year, I tend to avoid things that I don't have great success with. So I like to spring plant butterfly bushes. They're like weeds and probably unlikely that they would be hurt, but there is some possibility. And there's also an issue with butterfly bushes where they can split in the winter time. I would like to get them established. And splitting, I mean, down near the base, you can actually, if there's any moisture down, a lot of moisture down near the base of the plant, that freeze thaw can actually crack them open and kill them that way. So I've had that experience in the wintertime, especially trying to overwinter a butterfly bush in a container. They don't overwinter very well in a container in areas where it freezes very solid. And so that was another thing I'd always put in a cold frame in the winter. I'd wait for them to go dormant because they need to go dormant, and then we'd put them in a cold frame. Okay, somebody asked me about a gardenia that they planted earlier in the spring that looks very, very bad right now because we had several dry periods here in the southeast, two long dry periods here in the southeast. And I'm sure they've defoliated. I know the exact look where it probably has 3 leaves on the end of each stem because the interior leaves on gardenias fall off. They get yellow and then fall off when they're dry. And they wanted to know what they should do about it. Nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. You need to fertilize it in the spring. Make sure you don't allow it to, get super dry if we have another long dry period. But don't overwater it either, because once a plant loses that much foliage, it's not going to be demanding water very much. And so this is going to take time. I think it will probably, as long as it survives this winter is going to determine everything for that plant at this point. But it's obviously going into winter stressed. And so, you know, it is vulnerable to being killed in this winter. But if it survives this winter, it should flush out nicely in the spring if you fertilize it. After it blooms, and it still will bloom probably around May, you can prune it just a little bit, and hopefully that'll flush it back out and it'll recover. Somebody asked about, I had talked about gardenias, you know, pruning them, you can prune them in the late winter because they bloom on new wood. And so the question arises is, if you never prune one, will it continue to bloom? And the answer is yes, it's always going to add new wood. They had bought a dwarf gardenia, so in their, you know, in your mind, it's only going to get, you know, 3 foot wide and 1 foot tall. So if I'm never pruning it, it's never going to grow. You know, it's going to stop growing. It will not stop growing. So that's the answer to the that's the $1 million answer right there. Plants don't stop growing, and so that plant needs to add new growth to flower. Once it gets out to about 3 feet, it'll probably grow slowly, but it'll continue to grow. Nothing stops growing. Tags aren't, like I've said many times on these videos and other places, the tag should say maintainable at. So if you're buying a plant that it says it's 2 to 3 feet in width, that means maintainable at 2 to 3 feet in width. If it needs to put on new growth to flower, it will continue to put on new growth to flower until it might end up 6 feet wide. But it'll happen slowly. A plant that's maintainable at 2 to 3 feet wide or 3 to 4 feet wide is probably a slow growing thing that's not going to encroach on your garden very rapidly over time. But you will have to prune them. That's just across the board. Like I say, I wish the tag said, you know, maintainable at, rather than this is the size they get, like it's some magical size plants reach where they just stop growing. So that was the ones that I had written down from this week. That was like 10 or 11 there. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you for participating in this. This video gets more views every week, so it seems to be heading in the right direction. And if you have any questions, you know, gardening questions, ask them down below the description. Thanks for watching.